Good morning and welcome to Frank's School. Boy, it's a busy time of year. This is June 7th, I think. June 7th, June 8th, with getting the barn floor ready for the hay to come in. We're repairing it and doing that, and then getting the garden planted, and then too it's the spring runoff. The spring runoff has begun to slow up, and it will end by July. Eventually it ends here, and the creeks go dry. But it's begun to slow up, and this is the time where it's most exciting to be working with the water and the water wheels and stuff. But in any case, well, because of that, I'm going to go on with this. I'm not sure how many videos there's going to be about where I'm specifically dealing with water wheels. This is a 6-year, 40th day, first video and only video, but I'm going to reference you to 3 others. Water wheels, 5th time. And what I want to do today is draw your attention to some water wheels, or the water wheels, at Gifhorn, Germany. Gifhorn is an open-air museum. It's the International Wind and Water Mill Museum, I think is the whole name of it in English. And I traveled there with the Hawklings, Shirley and Thomas. And it's really more spectacularly about windmills. It's really unbelievable that what this man did with his models and with full-size windmills that are there. And there is I say, see the playlist Gifhorn. If you're curious, I put them together, I put them together in a playlist, so that would take you a while to go through that whole playlist. But later on, about the time that the spring runoff stops, you get into August and September. At that point, I'm going to turn my attention to windmills, and I'll be doing something similar. But now, back to this. This was the 3rd year of Frank's School, and on the I posted it, the 177th day of that year, and what I did was I kept the day, and I ran through the videos in a sense as if they were all going to be viewed in one day, which should certainly be done. I mean, our visit was in a day. And I'll stand by it. I think it's fascinating, and the way I film, although I don't film well, I film details, and I am so glad for that now, because I can go back and I can take the time to look at those details. The first water wheel that you'll see is from a silver mine. It's huge. It's huge, and I'd ask you to notice the clasp arm, the way the clasp arm spoking is done, just in passing, the way the spokes are, and note also the all thread, the bolts that are holding it together. It is not really what you'd think of as a really old-fashioned water wheel. Well, for one thing, it's huge. Well, the Romans did some huge ones, and also the steel flange at the hub, the way that wheel has been constructed. I didn't write this down, but I also really took note of the way there's braces on it so the wind doesn't blow it over, because it's just that high that would be a danger. Once it's down in place, I can't imagine that would be the same danger. But all right, so anyway, that's one. I'll give you the link. It's around the 4th minute. Before that, you're going through a windmill, which is fine too, and you'll see my German friends. And then in this one, I go into a floating mill, a mill that was actually meant to be in a river, anchored, and the flow of the river turned the wheel. None of these wheels are turning, and I actually think that Gifhorn is not really sited in a place suitable for water power. Maybe that's one of the reasons the windmills are more spectacular. But it sits in a pond, and I'm not so sure it would ever turn except with a motor put on it or something. A floating mill, and in that now it's quite huge. I mean, you go across a bridge by the wheel, and I would ask you to notice the details of the wooden gears, the teeth, the wooden gearing. I get in there and I film close, because I'll be making, if I live long enough, I'm going to be making some things like that. Wonderful to my eye. The wooden gear, I guess it's just one gear. Well, it'd be a pair of gears, and the teeth, also made out of wood, real close. the miller's cell. He's got this little tiny, I call it a cell because it's so small you'd hardly call it a room, and that's where he slept. That's where he cooked. That's where he had his chance to get warm. You know, mills typically were not heated, and the miller didn't always live in the mill, but when he did, and that was true here in the United States too, there'd be one really little cell where he could get warm. I saw one where there was actually like a wooden box full of sand, and that was his fireplace. You know, in a wooden mill. I mean, and I think there was some kind of a chimney in the one that I saw. But well, in any case, you look in a light in a window to see that. And in the framing, I was not only interested in the water wheels. Obviously, at the time I was more interested in the way those buildings are framed, especially the Fachwerk, the post and beam framing. So anyway, notice there's a lot of details of the framing. That's in that floating mill. And then this one, I want to say it's from Croatia or Serbia. I'm not sure. And I also, you'll also see one from, is it Pyongyang? This is an international museum. It was a mill brought from somewhere in Southeast Asia. Well, in any case, it's a double wheel, so you could have one after the other turning. Again, I go in, and at one point I reach up, and because I can reach to the wheel, there's no water in it, and see how easy it is to turn, and it is so easy. Water wheels are very heavy, but if the bearings are good, you know, and it's balanced, which it has to be, it turns easy. And here I would say, note also the horizontal wheels. On the ground, there are, I think you only see them outside and on the ground. You see two examples of horizontal wheels, or tub wheels, I sometimes call them. All right, well, that's enough for today. Now, you know, if you look at this video and all you do is listen to me, you know, thanks. But there's where you'll see the wealth of stuff that I have available. Bye for now.